Hello and welcome to the ICX Academy. Now we will be talking about one-on-ones, or also called check-ins. But first of all, let's have a look at the goals of this session. So firstly, you should understand the importance of one-on-ones, and secondly, you understand how to structure one-on-ones. But actually, what are one-on-ones? So one-on-ones or individual check-ins are weekly touch points with each member individually. It is a conversation between you as team leader and one of your members. You can use them for tracking, coaching, sensing of the current state and mood and motivation, and also goal setting. So basically, one-on-ones are a weekly conversation with one of your members individually. So you sit together with one of your members and just talk about him being part of this team, about his ICX experience, about his ICX journey, but also about what is going on in his to-dos and responsibilities. Second key facts, they should happen every week. So this is also very important to get your members into a routine so that you should talk to them once per week individually. 30 minutes are normally enough. So of course it depends on the complexity of the task and how much responsibilities your members have. For team leaders, it might be possible to have 60 minutes check-ins with them, but normally for regular members, let's say half an hour is enough. And you can also do them via phone, so you don't need to meet them physically. It's also sometimes or normally sufficient if you just call them and talk about what is going on right now. Okay, why is this topic relevant? First, it's very important to get a routine into your team and each member so that you have also this touch point once per week with every single member. During these check-ins, you can get a deep overview about the current state of each member's responsibilities. So depending on your team size and in general what is going on, it might not be possible to talk about each member and his or her to-dos deeply during your team meetings, because normally during team meetings you should address or talk about topics that are relevant for everyone. So therefore you can use these check-ins to get deeper into the to-dos and responsibilities of each member and talk about them intensively. You should also use them as a way to sense the current student motivation of each member, and this is maybe the most important part, because sometimes you don't really see during team meetings if your members lose motivation or if they have struggles, and therefore it's extremely important to have these individual conversations with each member to really see how everybody is doing on his own. It's also connected to this last point. They are very relevant in order to have an individualized leadership style tailored to your members, so that you really have a personal one-on-one relationship with each member and not only with the whole team. And this helps then also to create trust and get also deeper into the journey your members are going through and how you can support them best based on their individual needs. What should they look like? So here's also a proposed structure that I highly recommend you to follow, more or less. So you should start with a social check-in and mood checking, so just asking them how they are doing, what's going on in your life. So on a personal level, for example, how they are doing with their exams right now, with their new courses, with their new hobbies, friends, whatsoever. And then also ask them, how is your ICX experience going? How do you feel in the team and with your tasks? So this is also important to just get not straight into the to-dos, but just to get an overall overview about their ICX experience and their current mood in the team. This is especially important to really sense their individual feelings and behaviors, to also see if everything is going fine or if this person is dissatisfied with his experience. Then you should go to the more content related part, so just asking them what is going on with your responsibilities, so that you give them the opportunity to just explain what they did last week. I wouldn't ask them specifically like, okay, did you do this task or did you do that task, but I would ask an open question so that it doesn't seem to be very rush or hard tracking, but just like general curiosity how he is doing with his responsibilities. And then of course, what were the goals for the last week, what were the necessary actions. So also to refer back to last week's check-in to see if he achieved his goals or if he did all the actions you agreed on last time. You can talk about current challenges. So what is holding you back right now? What can be solutions for this? So if this member is encountering difficulties or challenges, this is a time where you can talk about them. Normally you should ask them to find their own solutions by just asking questions. In case of new members, if they don't know that much already about ICX, you can also provide them with solutions, but normally they should come up with their own solutions, because this will then will also increase the chances that they will actually do them, because they were kind of their own solutions. Yeah. Then you should talk about goals and actions for the next week. So what do you want to achieve next week in terms of numerical goals, like how many meetings you would like to raise, and of course also what are actions required to get there. So just map out what is the focus of next week and what are the commitments your members would like to give you. For example, going to an event, doing cold calls, but also getting in touch with an intern, organizing an event, or searching for a fuzzy for the upcoming IPS. So that you have really clear what this member is going to do until your next check-in. And then you should end with the social checkout. So we can also ask just a fun question, ask them what they are going to do this week, during the weekend, to really also create this kind of personal relationship and not only a work relationship. Tips and points of attention. Have a regular weekly date for the one-on-ones. This is very important that you don't change the date every week, but that you have one fixed date, preferably for the whole semester, because this will also help your member a lot to really get a ICX routine. And yeah, get personal. Try to build a personal relationship with your members. You don't need to become the closest friends ever, but as this person is also a volunteer and he wants to learn something, you should make sure that you have also some kind of personal relationship and that you know more or less what is going on in his personal life. Maybe not in a very detailed way, depends also on the member, but that you roughly know what is he doing and how is he doing in general in his life right now, to also get a better sensing for his motivation and current availabilities. Yep, you should always refer to the last check-in. Therefore, take notes. This is very important that you take notes and that you refer to them in the next check-in, so that your member sees also that you are taking this very serious, and that there's always kind of an output of each meeting, so that there's also something you can hold your members accountable for. And end with clear actions and commitments. This is also very important, so that each check-in ends with a couple of 3 to 4 clear actions and commitments that your member is going to do until the next check-in. This is it already regarding check-ins or one-on-ones. They are not rocket science. Of course, normally you are not a born master in this, but you will improve a lot during running them, and therefore you can also use, for example, once per month to check in to ask for feedback and what's the benefit of this feedback for your members, and then you will constantly improve in this. Yeah, and overall it's just one of the most, or beside team meeting, it's the most important thing regarding team management. So to have an individual approach to each member and have an individual touch point with each member to sense how they are doing, and also to support them in the best possible way. And with this, thank you very much, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact your Arrows NST.